AI agents are not magic. They are disciplined loops. Observe, think, and act. Plus, we add memory, tools, and guardrails. If you have been overwhelmed by frameworks and buzzwords, this video is your roadmap from zero to production-ready agent development. This roadmap split into the 9 steps. Each has a build, a proof, and a gate. So you know you are ready to move on. Now let's start with first step. In the first step, we start simple. Python, OpenAI SDK, and Async.io. We learn to structure prompts and parse structure outputs and use function calling. And we need to add the persistence, JSON or SQLite for short-term and long-term memory. And at the end, we need to track the tokens and costs. Now, this is the first step that you need to know when you are starting with the agentic AI development. Now, the next step is CrewAI, crews that think. By using the CrewAI framework, we define roles like analyst, writer, reviewer, then we run them sequentially, in parallel, or hierarchically. And here we add custom tools, for example, for web, finance, or ERP systems. Then we are securing it with schemas and a low list. And we need to experiment with human-in-loop checkpoints. In this step, you also learn reliability, timeouts, and retries. And when you finish this step, you can ship a real analyst, writer, reviewer workflow. Then, after learning the crews, we continue to the next step, where we learn chains and RAG. LangChain gives you pipelines, output parsers for reliability, and RAG for actual answer. You can build knowledge assistant that cites sources and passes a small golden sets of tests. So to be able to do this, you need to learn LangChain. Then we continue to the fourth step. In the fourth step, it is about orchestrated graph. Now we go to graph native. With LangGraph framework, you design nodes, edges, and state, and add reducer, conditional routing, and checkpointing. We can build a research pipeline that resumes after failure and integrates with another agent which is called elevator agent. So this means that with LangGraph, we can design the graph native, which is going to be the orchestrated graph. So as a fourth step, you need to learn about LangGraph. Then the fifth step is distributed teams. So AutoGen framework specializes in multi-agent conversations and critic loops. You can wire a distributed team, research, draft, and measure the quality improvements, and handle runtime, retries, and failures across the agents. Then after learning this, we continue to the next step. Now the next step is we connect with the enterprise. Now MCP, Model Context Protocol, connects agent to the real business systems. It might search finance data, or connect to the ERP or CRM systems or any other internal tools. You can run sample MCP server, build your own to-do server, and add an isolation, compose multiple servers. So with MCP, we connect the agents to the real business systems. Then the next step is reliability and observability. So here we read errors without panicking and retry the smart way using the exponential backoff and fix context length issues by trimming or chumping the prompts and write the structured logs and traces. And here we need to protect the user data. So we need to keep secrets out of the logs and keep auditing the logs to see who accessed what. Then the next step is integrations and routing. So we need to connect to the apps right away. We can use Slack, Gmail, Notion, Jira, and any other apps. But here we need to give your app only minimum permission it needs. And we need to pick the right model for each job. So we will have a policy-based routing, choose by cost or speed, content-based routing, pick a model by type of the task, and fallback trees. If model A fails or timeouts, we try model B, then C. And here we need to verify before you run the tools. We need to add the checks that confirm inputs look safe and sane before calling any API or database. Then the final step is ship and scale. We need to launch AI agents with a solid backend. Here we can use Fast API for your API and background workers for long tasks, and package everything in Docker and add health check. And the second point is we need to build the teams right away. So support multi-tenant organization, You can use Stripe for subscription and invoices. And we need to operate it like a business. Go to market, who you serve, pricing, and channels and demos. And at the end, we need to identify the statements of work for agencies. Here it's going to be the scope, deliverables, timeline, acceptance criteria, change orders, and payment terms. Now, by following this roadmap, your portfolio is not just going to be the code. It's going to be the systems with the outcomes. So if you recap it, we have the foundations, Crew, RAG, Graph, distributed, enterprise, and prod steps. So if this helped, hit the like button so more builders see it.